we have to give our resources there, and we have to give software there, intelligence there, and then work together and collaborate and create this as far as open standards are concerned, I will not go over these open standards. You can have a look. These are all the open standards where we have contributed or we are looking at. So, lot, you look at XML, IFX, CPR, W3C, OMA, all these standards are where Oracle contributes. And if you look at just the products that Oracle has in open source, there are a huge number of products, right? When you talk about PHP, we are working with Linux, Zen, Eclipse, Jersey, Java is a big one, Glassfish, MySQL, OpenJDK. All these are open source products that we own and drive, and we are very, very happy that we are a part of this community, we grow the community and everybody works in. And they form parts of stacks, and those stacks are something that we work on. I will talk about the OpenStack a little bit. I think even for Linux, that's something that we talk about. So going to MySQL now. I think the first question a lot of people ask me is, Oracle, MySQL, MySQL is really good. And the last part we had in Oracle Open World, and the register came out with this article, which said Oracle will kill MySQL, scale this user, ha ha ha. And that's what our executives are telling me. Look, it's been 5 years. Till date, nothing has happened, and I think that story, that part is all old story. Nobody should believe it. Okay. These are really the best years of database. Database technology is growing at a pace which is really, really good. Okay, there are cluster databases coming in, there is cloud databases that are coming in. We really need to do sharding that is happening. A lot of things that are happening, and these are the best years of database life. And MySQL is going to remain and will be a part of this whole story of databases, and Oracle is going to keep investing. So if Oracle is the database that you want, absolutely you can have Oracle. If MySQL is the database that you want, absolutely we have that. And there are multiple other databases that Oracle maintains. That is what you want. So what have we been doing is just not talk about what that we are doing here. This is, if you look at in 5.7 till date, and 5.7 is our latest release of MySQL. What have we done so far? Each feature that we implement is called a workload. So there are about 244 workloads we've done. These are the 497 tests. These are the bugs we fixed. And if you look for, since the last 5 years, the number of 4.5 years, the bugs we fixed is 8,259. So it's not that, Oracle has bought us and kept us in the corner. We continue to work, we continue to innovate, and we continue to provide free and open source software. And remember, the MySQL strategy always is going to be that the code is going to be open, and the standards are going to be open, interfaces are going to be open. Anybody can write specialized interfaces which are required by large corporations. But as far as our customers are concerned who are willing to pay us money, we have created some specialized interfaces and some specialized implementations. For example, online backup. So, for example, enterprise monitor. For example, multiple things. If somebody wants more security, if somebody wants multi-threading, those interfaces are written on top of interfaces which are open. So if a customer wants to implement those interfaces themselves, they are more than welcome to implement them. But if you want something prepackaged by Oracle, that's what you pay for, and that's what our open source strategy is, and that's what our sales strategy is. So we're working on it. What is our focus? We know that web and cloud is something that is going to remain. We've always been focused on the web, and that's where we've been working on. Cloud is something that that is new, and that we have been working on, and we are looking at how MySQL can work best on the cloud, how it can integrate better with Hadoop, and we do want to continue to be the leading application or database for that. What is it in our architecture that we need to do to remain at that lead? We need to do architecture improvements. We have to have better modularity. Performance and scalability, this is the focus that we keep on having, and I'm going to talk about how performance and scalability has been improving and will continue to improve. And management and security. So there are steps in that direction. One of the big ones is this new data dictionary that we're building, and the enterprise encryption, and there are integration with Oracle that we are doing in that. And there are leaders, leading companies who recognize that MySQL is working and continues to work on this, And like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Bookings.com, Cisco, all these companies understand that our technology makes sense, and they want to help us and continue to use our technology. I talked about speed improvements, and now I'm talking about our latest release 5.7. What are the improvements? And you can see huge improvements. If you look at the system benchmark, it's now going to 700,000 transactions that we are talking about. Read, if you do read only, if you look at NoSQL, that's a new thing that we've implemented. Again, we are close to a million transactions per second. So our speed is really, really improving. Performance and scalability, focus. Every time we create a better software, and the focus is on multi-threading. The moment you look at a database, you say, okay, how does it scale? If you look at servers, 5 years ago, you had 4 cores or 5 cores. Then now you're getting 32 cores, 168 cores, 124 cores. So we need to ensure that we scale at that level. I think this benchmark is done for a 64 core server. So we need to scale at that level. And when you start scaling at that level, then you will get performance number. So if you are doing serious database, stuff, MySQL is one of the things that we were focusing on, because I think Facebook came to us and said, there are a lot of connections that happen, right? Somebody connects and disconnects, connects and disconnects. And because of that, how many connections can we handle in a second? So right now we're talking about 70,000 close to 70,000 connections that will happen in a second. So that's one of the areas that we have now focused on. So if you have a large website on which there are multiple connections that are happening, you don't need to worry. We will be able to handle about 70,000 connections to the database that will come about. The other new thing that we have announced is MySQL Fabric, and this is our HA and scalability story. And what we have also done and ensured is that not only can it be provisioned on its own separately, but it's a part of the OpenStack. You can do HA sharding through the OpenStack. You can provision machines. You can through the OpenStack. You can OpenStack Nova. You can provision MySQL. You can set up a server, and you can clone servers, and you can also have replication. Because replication is another thing that is a big deal for us, because as far as read scalability is concerned, a lot of people are concerned that they want to have one server where things are written and it scales out to thousands of servers. All of your Facebook, Twitter, all the large companies, if they want a scaling out story, replication is what to use. And now you can use it. You can use my OpenStack to be able to provision that. As I said, what is the new story in Fabric? So till now, the concern with people was that yes, you can read, you can write at one place and read from multiple places. But what if there are people who want to write at these different multiple servers? You needed to partition your database, and the partitioning of database was limited to a certain extent. Now what we have created is we've created what is called a fabric. It's a group of servers, and each group has a master and could have multiple slaves, so it's a resilient HA group. And you basically partition your database over these multiple groups. So they live, and the understanding of this fabric is built in right over the fabric architecture. So there's a fabric node that understands fabric, knows if something goes down, I need to take care of it. And as far as your MySQL clients are concerned, when they are connecting to the fabric, the intelligence on which data, so if I'm looking for data X, and this data X is on the fabric group Y, that intelligence does not need to be built into your application, because the fabric node knows about it, and your connector, right? So if you have a Python connector, or if you have any other kind of connector, the connector knows where this information is. So you just say, as far as you're concerned, you say, my sharding key that I'm using is this, and this is the data that I want. The connector knows, he talks to the fabric node, finds out where the data is, and he goes to that code. So you can actually partition your database, and you can have very, very large installations that you can have with fabric. There is a session that we're going to have on fabric, so if you want to know details of that fabric, that is something we can talk about. So the fabric aware connectors, as I said, currently we have Python, Java, PHP, Net, C, and C is there in the lab. So on the other side of replication, One is that, from you want to have scale out on one end, and the other scale out that people want to have is, okay, I've got these, multiple servers, and they've got, different databases or same databases or Fabric or whatever. Now I want to integrate all my data on a single server, and this could be required for doing analytics or for doing backup. There was no story for us. But now with multi-source applications, we have the story for you. You can actually, you've got multiple servers, you point them to a single server, and this single server is going to pull automatically on its own and get all the data, keep it at one place so that you have this, you have the capability, whatever you want to use it for, whether it's analytics, whether it's backup. You can filter on that okay, I don't want multiples, I want only these tables. For any other kind of and okay, another new thing that we have come up with is called group replication, and this is what a lot of people are extremely excited about. And this is now, for the first time, truly something with which you can have right scalability. That means if you've got 10 servers, and these 10 servers, earlier we were saying, okay, write on one server and then read on, then replicate and read from these. But now with group replication, we are saying, okay, you've got 10 servers, you can write on any of these servers, and this information, so if you write A, if you've got 10 tables and you're writing A, B, C, D on these different servers, they're going to coordinate among each other and ensure that this data is consistent. So you don't have to worry that your scalability automatically happens. Which server you're talking to, you don't really care about because you can read on that server. You can also write. That's another interesting thing. Again, this is something that we will be talking about in detail in the next session. Okay. Then there are extensions in SPB. So now you can actually, this is a new thing, interesting thing that we've done. You can actually write a command in HTTP, a MySQL command, and then that goes and gets executed on the server. Yes, we understand that there are security implications, and therefore right now it can be done only locally, and we expect that the application will take care of ensuring that these things can be done. But the possibility is there. So we are going towards HTTP and understanding HTTP protocol system. I'm sorry that these are so many disparate technologies that I have to jump from one to the other. But this is another new interesting thing, and I've got only 20 minutes because I have to give time for Linux. That's why I'm jumping to it. How many of you know about performance schema? One, two, few hands. The performance schema is information about what is happening in the database. Right? So a lot of times, you will say, people will worry about that. I run this query and it's taking more time than it needs. Or there is this something that is stuck. So there is information that you need about a running query. Okay, how much data did you get? Okay, how many mutexes did you get? What was the IO time that it got blocked up? All this information about what is happening in your server when a query is run. And I'm talking about millions of queries being run. So there is this performance schema, which is a transient database, which captures this information about each and every statement that you do at different times. What is happening when the statement is executed? What are the states of the statement? And then in each state, what are the mutexes? In each mutex or IO operation, how much time you take. So the whole information is captured. But since there are so many stages, it's extremely confusing. So now what we've done is that we've created a helper for performance schema. What it does is at the highest level, it simply talks about, okay, what is it that you're looking for? If you're looking for small x, okay. If you're looking for server information, or basically you want to just know, okay, what is the top 10 activity, okay? Which are the statements that are taking the top 10 statements that are taking the maximum time. That is something that you can get with this schema. So this we have built an infrastructure on top of performance schema to be able to give you the most sought after very, very easily. Again, this is something that you need to delve in, and I think in our previous session we did talk about this schema a bit. I hope if you had questions. There are a lot of resources available for this. Look for sys schema, look for performance schema, you will get information. Okay. The other thing that I think MySQL was a little bit short on was the fact that our GIS capabilities were not very good, and we had natively written our own GIS thing. Now we've not done that. We've integrated the Boost geometry. This is the most commonly used infrastructure for GIS, and there are multiple things, spatial information that we can do. We can calculate distances, we can do proximity searches, and there are changes that we've done right down to our InnoDB engine. You can actually find out a lot of stuff about GIS. There is a presentation on GIS that you can attend, and you can come to know, okay, so I've got geographical information, how do I store it, how do I use it, how do I find out, okay, I think the example that they're going to talk about is also, okay, I'm living here and I've got all these, which are the closest 10 Thai restaurants that we have. So I think that exactly how you can do that is something that is explained to you, is going to be explained to you in that presentation. And it's also going to talk about, what is this whole, how do you think about GIS and how do you put it into a database? That whole presentation is there. It should be an interesting presentation. That P15 tomorrow. There's a slide about. So you can have look at that. And again, as I said, it's not only that we just pick up the Boost geometry and then we don't contribute anything back. We are now Boost contributors. So there are engineers who are working on Boost, extending Boost, and helping with the yeah, not to forget, Windows is our focus platform. So there's a huge amount of stuff that we're doing on Windows. Whether it is installer, whether it is Workbench, which is a tool with which you can create databases extremely quickly. You can manage your users. You can go transform from one database to another. So that's stuff. We have migration wizards. Visual Studio extension is there. For Excel, we have connections. So there's a huge amount of work that we've been doing for Windows. So if you're working on Windows, MySQL should be interesting. And what have we been doing for downloads? Earlier, whenever we used to come out with a new release, we were dependent on our distros. That whenever the distros put our latest release into the distro, only then you could get the latest release. Now we are not dependent on them. We've got our own Yum repositories, NuGet repositories, apt-get repositories. So the moment you find out that there's a new release available, your Linux will say do a Yum install or apt-get, and you will get the latest MySQL. We are moving to GitHub. I think all open source projects are already on GitHub. This is this source control system is the one that I think now all open source systems are using. MySQL will soon be using GitHub, and so if you want to integrate it with MySQL, you want to pull in something, you want to add information, you want to look at the source code. That source code is going to be available to you in GitHub. You can integrate, you can extend whatever you want to do. Lastly, I just wanted to also talk about, so we've got the MySQL server, which I've been talking about in detail. I also wanted to talk about our cluster implementation. MySQL cluster is, it's our hugely successful product, which is used by almost all the telcos. So today, if you are making a phone call, you're probably going to, you're using your, MySQL cluster, because this is the, in-memory clustered implementation of by MySQL for an in-memory database. And this is being used by, I think, all telcos, 91% or something of the calls. All the calls are being using that. Again, we have new stuff here, and the new stuff here is that if you have two geographical locations and you want to copy information from one to the other so that if one fails, the second one should be up. Really active, and that means the data is up all the time. So this is the new thing that we've done in our cluster. So if there is that level of a database that you're interested in, have a look at our cluster. There are really interesting things. I think I'll finish with that, and I'll hand over to Ramesh. Thank you.
Thanks, Sanjay. Thank you so much. In fact, even I didn't realize we are doing so much with MySQL and some of the things that we're doing. So I'll be talking about Oracle's journey on Linux. So, like Sanjay asked, how many of you know Oracle Linux? Wow. It's good to know that not too many of you know that. So let me start off by talking about Linux itself first, so nobody really owns Linux. All of us know that. Linux is a distribution. A lot of people work on it. It's not owned by us, by some of the competition that we have. And Linux is it's a community product, right? I mean, it receives a lot of contributions from a lot of the community. People like you, people like developers who keep developing a lot of things on Linux. So what we have focused on is features which are really important for our enterprise customers. And I will take you through some of the Oracle's journey that we have had on the Linux side of the business. It's a very interesting story, purely because we were first amongst the lot of large corporates that are there in the world to adopt to Linux. In fact, as on date, Oracle is probably the largest IT user of Linux. Everything off Oracle runs on Linux. Entire Oracle runs on Linux. Our websites, you name it, and everything runs on Linux. What we used to call it earlier, the on-demand side of Oracle, which is basically the cloud services as on date, which is both on-premise and off-premise. The entire thing is on Oracle. In fact, we announced the first RDBMS for Linux way back in 1998. That's when Oracle's journey into Linux really started. And not many people really know this. People really think that Oracle has been working with Red Hat. And that's been a fantastic relationship that we have had with Red Hat. Wherein we ended up solving a lot of database queries and database problems that our customers were facing for Red Hat, and we were pushing it back to Linux. And that's when, in about, I think about 2005, 2006, when Larry decided that, hey, enough is enough, let's start our own distribution. Let's start solving problems for our customers, our enterprise customers, like the Yahoos and the Amazons, and some of the small and medium enterprise customers as well, on Linux. So we ended up solving most of the bugs that our customers were facing on Linux. And that's how the entire distribution model for Oracle Linux is designed. The other thing which we also did was we ended up creating a huge community within Oracle which was supporting Linux. Now, this is a team which ended up supporting Oracle internally, and this was a team which was supporting our customers who were reporting problems and bugs and a lot of other things of Oracle products on top of Linux, any flavor of Linux. It really didn't matter to us whether it was SUSE or whether it was Red Hat or whether it was a community product that they were using or whatever it was. We ended up solving most of those queries, and we ended up with a huge set of engineers within Oracle, which was really supporting Oracle and these customers as well. And so they ended up doing a lot of work which was again being pushed back to the community, like Butterfist, for example. That's a huge contribution that we have done to the open source community. OCFS too, for example. OCFS, the entire OCFS product itself was actually done by Oracle and then pushed into the mainstream. So we ended up doing a lot of these work for the overall Linux community, and that's how Oracle's journey into the Linux world really started. And we've been doing this for a lot of time now, like I said, right from 1998 onwards. And when we started the distribution, we also started realizing that some of the existing solutions that are there at the OS level was probably not good enough for some of our enterprise customers. And we need to do a lot of development, and we need to really take it to the next level, where the customers are really seeing the benefit of using Oracle Linux as a platform and using their applications and database and whatnot on top of it. And that's how our journey into ensuring that Linux itself is getting developed further started. And we ended up buying a product called Ksplice. Ksplice is a product which helps you to do your bug fixes and patches and updates and all of that without really shutting anything down. So there is no downtime, there is absolutely zero downtime. And there is absolutely zero loss of revenue, loss of time, and all of that while you're doing your bug fixes and patches and everything. Now, this product is also available for people. So it's not like we bought this and we have kept it to ourselves and giving it out only to people who are paying us money. right? So we have been doing all these development work, and we have been pushing it back to the community. So whatever we are doing is not just for ourselves or for our paying customers, but it's open for everyone. That's how we remain open. So that's a commitment which we have to the open source community in general. That whatever we do is not something which we are going to keep it to ourselves. Why is Linux really important to Oracle? I mean, entire Oracle is running on Linux, all of that. But then, why does it really make any sense for Oracle to remain in the Linux business? Oracle's journey into Linux is not limited to having Oracle on Linux. Oracle's journey into Linux has also got us into engineered systems. It has gotten us into the actual real applications and the production workloads that people are running on top of this. So much so that all the engineered systems that you see in the market as of date is running on top of Linux. Now, we call it the best Linux for the enterprise purely because the scale of support that we are able to provide to our customers. Think of it, I mean, our customers are across the globe, and these are customers who are running real life, real workloads, applications that are extremely critical to them, applications which cannot go down even for a single second. And somebody needs to be providing them the support that's required by them, wherein somebody can provide that insurance cover for them that, hey, if at all anything goes wrong, we are there to support you 24/7 without pay. And we have over 14,000 engineers supporting our customers, and not just the Oracle products, but anything on top of it. And even if you're running SAP or if you're running some of the other applications that are there, best-of-breed applications, we really don't care. I mean, you could be running anything on top of Oracle Linux and we'll still support. So we are not limiting ourselves to the Oracle side of the world. We are open to anything that which is running on top of it. So we have been innovating, we have been collaborating with a lot of our partners, and we have also been creating a lot of new things for our customers that they can start using. Like I mentioned, Case-Slice. Case-Slice is a great example. So the other thing which happened was, somewhere in the journey line which I showed you, you also ended up acquiring Sun, and that collaboration was a fantastic collaboration for us, because Sun was an organization which was known for its open source. It was known for Java, it was known for MySQL, and all of that Oracle was not known for from an open source standpoint. And that partnership really helped Oracle Linux and the development work which was happening on the Linux side. Because it opened up the window for features like dtrace and the Docker containers and so on and so forth, which primarily was never part of the Linux story earlier. And suddenly these new things started happening for the Linux community from an Oracle standpoint. So, that's been the journey so far of Oracle in terms of Linux. And like I said, the freedom to choose. Now, we know for a fact that there are a lot of organizations which do not allow you to download the entire package, entire software as such and start using it. They restrict you in terms of what you can download, what you can use as an open source community without paying for any support. However, Oracle never does that. So one of the things which we have always followed is, you can download Oracle Linux in its entirety as is, start using it, and don't pay anything. It really doesn't matter. Unless and until you come back and start talking to me about support, I'll never ask you any questions about where did you get the software from, how did you download it, why are you downloading it. You want to change it? Go ahead, be my guest. You want to change it and use it? You're free to do that. It really doesn't bother us. And like I said, all the development work that we have been doing so far, we have been pushing it back to the community so that they can start using it and they can get a feel of what our enterprise customers are really doing. What that has meant is, so we started this business about 8 years back, the distribution of Oracle Linux business. And over the last 8 years, we have built a huge list of customer bases, almost about 12,000 and a half and growing. And we have got some really huge names in the bank. And these are like really large customers who are using large workloads on top of Oracle. And like I said, a lot of them are using non-Oracle workloads. It means that they could be running SAP, they could be running some of their own control applications, they could be running something else, and they could be running it on Dell, HP, they could be running on whatever x86 box that they have chosen as their discrete application or discrete hardware. And it really doesn't bother us because for us, what bothers more is that the customer should be getting the enterprise class support that they are looking for. Like I said, we support all the IHVs. We are IHV agnostic. That's the fact is, all of Oracle's hardware is running on Oracle Linux, and all the engineered systems like your exa boxes or the ODAs or the other boxes that the engineered team has, everything is running on Oracle Linux. And the fact that all those boxes are running on Oracle Linux, and the fact that most of these ISVs are supporting Oracle Linux today, talks to you about the stability of the product that we have and what we have been doing for the last 7-8 years. So we have worked extremely closely with our partners like the Cisco's and the Dells of the world to ensure that their hardware is also completely tested and engineered to work together with Oracle, apart from Oracle's own products. And we have also worked with a lot of ISVs. This is extremely important because I can have the best of breed operating system, but if the ISVs don't accept it and if the ISVs don't know about me, then you as a customer will never be able to accept it, because if your product is not certified to run on top of my operating system, you're out of compliance, you're out of product. You don't want that. We don't want that to happen as an organization. So we have worked with a lot of partners to ensure that our product is getting certified by most of the other ISVs or the independent software vendors that we have. The other thing which we did was, and this stemmed from the fact that a lot of our enterprise customers end up having a lot of disparate systems, servers spread across various data centers, across various hubs, a lot of other places, and so on and so forth. So how do you manage all this? What do I do? Do I need to spend a lot of money managing all this, or how do I manage all the servers which are running, all the systems which are running? And that's when the enterprise manager, and if you have been an Oracle user, you're probably familiar with the enterprise manager as a solution. It's a fantastic product, it's a fantastic tool which allows you to manage most of your disparate systems across various hubs, various places in a very, very easy GUI controlled fashion, which gives you the flexibility to do your patching, your uploading, a lot of other things very easy. We also did what I just mentioned some time back, the K-Splice integration with our product, which allows you to do these patchings and the security updates and all of that without bringing anything down. So you can have your server running and go ahead and do your patching and go ahead and do your security updates without really thinking about what will happen if I shut down running server. What we also did was we came up with validated configurations. Now, like I said, apart from the Oracle side of the hardware, if the other software vendors and the hardware vendors do not accept Oracle Linux, then it becomes a problem not just for me, but for you as a customer. So we ensure that there are a lot of validated configurations with the hardware vendors, which you as a customer can choose and say that, hey, I want to go with a particular blade server from HP, a particular networking solution from, say, EMC or from anyone else, and I'll probably have SAP running on top of Oracle Linux, and I'll probably have EA as middleware, and it'll still work fine. It really doesn't matter that everything is not from a single vendor. You're still going ahead with this breed vendor in the spare, and you're trying to run everything together, and everything will still work. And we have already created those validated configurations for you, so that it's easy for you to go ahead and pick up and choose and do not worry about certification and a lot of things. Alright, so that's on the Linux side, and that's the Linux story that I was talking about. I'll also briefly talk about the VM story that we have had. Like Linux, VM is also an interesting story because the need for virtualization started for Oracle when somebody actually walked into Larry's office and said that we need $6 million because we are running out of space. So we have a huge data center in Austin, in Texas, and we host a lot of our customers' applications and database and a lot of other things for our customers there. And the demand from our customers started increasing, and we started running out of space there. So somebody went up to the management board and said that we need $6 million to expand our data center in Austin because we are running out of space. And it got thrown down, saying that no, we will not be spending so much money. So you go out and figure a way out to service these customers without really changing anything. So which meant that they had to find a way to increase the capacity of the existing data center that they had and not spend any money at all, or very little money on the whole thing. And that's when Oracle as an organization started playing around with some of the virtualization technology which was available. And I'm talking about 7-8 years back. And that's when we started playing around with some of the virtualization technology which was available. And we quickly figured that some of the available technology was good, was fantastic. In fact, there were products coming from people like VMware, Citrix, and a lot of other people. Fantastic products, great solutions, however, they cost a lot of money. And the fact that we have already spent a lot of time, effort, and energy working on the Linux side of the story, how do I ensure that that side of my investment is protected? And I also have a virtualization solution which will then complement my Linux side of the solution. And that's how Oracle VM story was born. It's again, it's a very open source product. It's a very cost-effective product. And the Oracle VM as a product is now getting shipped with all the internet systems that you have. In fact, there's a product called OVCA which has been recently launched, which is a pure virtualized box starting with 2 cores, and then you can keep building on top of it. So it's a great story that we had at that point, and we kept building on. And like I said, so have we really transformed it? So we had a lot of these disparate systems. We had commodity servers, we had VMware, the Hyper-V, the database, the business applications, and all of that. And how do I bring everything together? So if I have to bring everything together and ensure that everything is on a single stack and is being supported by this sort of class people, how do I do that? And that's how the whole thing started. And that also became the foundation for the private cloud that we are now proposing to all our customers. So it's not just about the server virtualization, it's also about the desktop virtualization. And how do we integrate the desktop that we have at our customer end to the servers that we have, the server virtualization stack that we have. And this is how we did it. So we said that let's then have the entire stack, we call it the red stack, running the Oracle products. So you have the servers, the storage, the virtual machines, the operating system, the database middleware, and the applications. Then the entire stack then started making so much more sense. Because what then happened was that the virtualization that we have, the Oracle VM we have, became such a stable product that we started shipping it. We started working with a lot of our ISPs and IHPs to ensure that the adoption rate for virtualization started increasing. The Oracle virtualization started increasing. And the life of our customers using the Oracle virtualization becomes easy. Like I said, it's a product which supports multiple cores. So it really doesn't matter to Oracle VM, whether you're using Solaris or Oracle Linux or something else on top of it. So you could have a bare metal provision with the virtualization and running anything on top of it. It really doesn't bother us. So, and the other component to the whole story was the networking component, and that's where we started now dabbling with, in terms of how do I start virtualizing the network side of it, because it's not going to be a simple static network that you're going to have, which is going to connect to your virtual machine. The other thing which we did, which is an extremely important thing for our customers, is the templates that we started building into these into the virtualization story. Now, what does it really mean to you as an end customer? The moment you have an enterprise class solution in your system, the need for scalability starts arising, and you will start having different data centers coming up or different centers coming up where you want to replicate the whole story again. And how do you do that? Because it can take like 4 to 8 weeks to come up with a rack solution, for example. Now, on the other hand, if you already have a template that is going to do the job for you, how does that make a difference to you from a time standpoint? From the Oracle VM's template, if you started implementing rack, you'll probably do it in about 2 or 3 days instead of 4 to 8 weeks. And some of the applications will probably take a couple of hours instead of a few days. That's the difference. That's the difference that started happening when we started building these templates into Oracle. And there are, I think, of the 15, 18,000 products that Oracle has, most of it is there. So you could be using a hospital application system, or you could be using a financial application, or you could be using a banking solution, or a transport solution, or a logistics solution. All those templates are already built in. So, and these templates are free for you. So you can just pick and choose the template that you want and start doing your implementation. So it's an extremely important feature that a lot of our customers have come back and told us that they really love this, and that's something which we are also very proud of, because it really helps cut down the time for implementation for our customers. And like I said, what this has really done to us is that we have now moved to a challenger position. If you look at it, the position that we are in as a day, we are just about moving into the next position, which is getting closer to the Microsoft and the VMware world, which is probably they are the market leader at this point. So that kind of concludes most of the presentation that I had, and between Sanjay and I, we probably have a few minutes to take any questions, if at all there are any. And these are some of the talks which are available tomorrow on the MySQL side. If anyone is interested, you're more than happy to take you there. And there is a feedback form in all your kits, so please fill that. And we are right next to the entry-exit gates, so you can come talk to us, meet us there, and don't forget to collect your goodie if you have filled your form. You can drop it there, and we are happy to talk to you guys.
Yeah, I have a question regarding in the new version of RHEL, right? We saw there has been a new database called MariaDB which has come, and when you install the newer version of OpenStack, it will, if MySQL is installed, so it will say like you have to first remove the MySQL. So what I read is like for the MySQL user who want to have a support, they have to go to the Oracle, and one who doesn't want to support, they can go and install MariaDB. So what is the plan, right?
So I think the plan is that for any open source product, and that is where you are happy with open source, is that anybody can fork your code and then they can start getting support. So MariaDB is a fork of MySQL, and I don't know if they have support in India, but if that's the product that you want, then you can go with them. It's all these different companies, whether it is MariaDB, MySQL, and there are different other companies also which have forked MySQL. They are a part of our ecosystem. we are happy that that was disclosed. Whereas, if you want Oracle support, yes, you need to have an official MySQL. If you don't want that support, and obviously between each both there is going to be some. So, for example, when we talk about Oracle Linux versus Red Hat Linux, there will be some difference. Similarly, when we talk about MariaDB versus MySQL, there will be differences. When we are looking at large companies like Facebook, right, or LinkedIn, they have evaluated all the codes, and finally they've decided that which fork they want to remain with is MySQL. That's what they decided. There's a whole new version of their highly performant SQL that they're going to be basing on MySQL. So it's up to you. The decisions are up to you. I don't want to give any kind of bias when we talk about it. Yes, you can. You want to use MariaDB? Welcome. You want to pull it out, use MySQL?
And one more question is Oracle OpenStack, right? As you see, the Oracle 7 is a OpenStack ready OS, and now you are pulling the repository from the Red Hat kernel. And if I talk about Oracle Linux, right? So by default, OpenStack icehouse, if I want to deploy it, so it will try to remove first the MySQL. Since the MySQL is now you are going to provide, so Oracle is going to provide support for MySQL, and if I replace with the MariaDB, so what's the plan? Like in Oracle OpenStack, there will be a MySQL database, or there will be a MariaDB database?
Our strategy is, when we talk about Linux, our strategy is that we want to be as close to the Red Hat version as possible. So there is by default MariaDB is there, but I think that move is happening. That we have by default MySQL. But till that time, I think you have to have that wait and you uninstall this. Sorry about that. It's a transition.
Yeah, just to add on to what Sanjay just mentioned. So when you're talking about Oracle, so I'll talk about Linux first and then the OpenStack. When you're talking about Oracle Linux, it actually has two kernels in it. So one kernel is the Red Hat compatible kernel, which is binary compatible, it's access without the Red Hat logos and all that. The other kernel which comes along when you download is the Oracle kernel. It's the Oracle's version of Linux, and the customer is free to use either of it. It really doesn't bother us what kernel that you choose to use. And you could be using the Oracle kernel or the Red Hat kernel, it will still give you the same level of support. Now, when it comes to so that's the Linux side of the story. On the OpenStack side of the story, the Oracle OpenStack story doesn't limit our customers from using any of the other OpenStack products which are available. For Oracle, it really doesn't matter. So we don't go out and say that we will work only with a particular vendor's OpenStack. So we go and say that we work with all the OpenStack products that are out there. So it really doesn't bother.
But the support you're going to give only Oracle products, right? We can't support for other things.
There's been significant development and contribution towards the ZFS from Oracle, and would like to know any plans to be part of the Oracle Linux, or how is it heading? Where is it heading?
That's something which I'll probably get one of my technical guys to give you an answer to that one. Yeah.
ZFS, or what we call ZFS, is basically an Oracle file system, and that is available as a book file system for the Solaris 11. The Solaris 11 and onwards kind. That was also a part of the open source strategy during the Sun time when we had the Open Solaris days. And I guess there were a few implementations, not in kernel, but I guess the userland kind of implementation for the ZFS on other distribution of Linux, which I'm not completely aware of, but there was some kind of movement happening there. I'm not sure where it is going exactly.
So to a certain extent, as far as our engineered systems are concerned, at the back end we are using ZFS. When is it's going to come into the mainline Oracle Linux is something that I don't think, even if I knew, I could give you the answer.
I think there was one more question.
to MySQL actually. So when you have MySQL for cloud adoption, it becomes easier to have an entire database which is open source in the cloud and makes the cost ownership less. So, but what solutions do you have for people like who come from the banks to say that the data needs to be encrypted and stuff like that, which is available in the Oracle enterprise grade stuff like Data Vault and that sort of stuff? Is there similar sort of thing available with MySQL?
Yes. So if you saw my slide, and I can talk offline, there is an encryption solution that we have for MySQL Enterprise now, and we can talk about it. Also, as far as backing up is concerned, we can encrypt a backup and we can do a lot of stuff like that. So absolutely, when we are looking at enterprise customers who are concerned with security, there are a lot of secure, and not only from security point of encryption, even from the point of auditing, that who has actually access, which are the customers which are the users that have accessed a particular row, particular table at what time, how much time did they access, what changed. All that information is tracked and traced, and you can actually find out exactly what is happening in your database, by whom, and you can set access and controls. So that absolutely is possible. It is a part of the enterprise part, and that's the reason I did focus on it here, because it's an open source service. We can have chat afterwards.
So if you have any further questions, we are right outside and we are very close to the entry exit room. I think the organizers are saying that we're probably running out of time, so due to the time constraint, we'll cut it here. But more than happy to answer any of your questions. And like I said, we're right outside, so please feel free to walk in and talk.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.